Welcome to Ballers and Briefs for December the 20th, Week 15 recap and Week 16 Thursday night football, Saturday holiday extravaganza primer. If you're with us now, thank you. We know that a lot of you are either in the playoffs, might not be in the playoffs and looking forward to next year, or just hanging out with us because you love DFS. But we really, really, really want to thank you guys for hanging out with us and coming back for the ones that keep coming back. So with that being said, Week 15, I felt like there was like shit that was way up here, and then there was shit that was way down here. And then there was a few things that were kind of sprinkled in the middle.
Hit a couple people who killed it, hit a couple people who shit the bed.
I tried to tell y'all that James Cook was where we needed to go on in that Buffalo and Dallas game. We called Jaden Reed. We called Kyron. We called CMC. Shit. Who else did we call? I was thinking about. I mean,
I know there was
the Browns defense. I mean, we were all over the Browns defense. It was an eventful weekend to say the least. I mean, I can't believe my Texans they need to be called the cardiac Texans. Kase Keenum, H-Town till he dies, I guess, and down here putting us in the best possible scenario to win. I don't know if y'all saw the tweet that JJ Watt said. So y'all, we won. Texans won. Y'all take them damn uniforms off and give them back to us. So that because the Tennessee was wearing the Houston Oilers uniforms, and we want them damn uniforms back.
Those uniforms are fire.
They're dope. They're so dope. I mean, they look cool as hell. So, but yeah,
I can see myself in that.
They're cool. Like
scoring touchdowns.
I always love the white helmet with the red face mask. Like that's always. I mean, if we could get a Texans version of it now, it would be cool. But the red face mask itself to me just looks cool. Like it just looks like you want to play. Maybe like or like like bull, like you're a bull, like and you see red and all you want to go is just tear somebody in half the whole time, so
I'm with it.
I
like black, to be honest.
I mean, I don't dislike a black uniform, but that's not
black. The Saints, when they come out blacked out with the black everything, and the Kamara got the black visor, I'm like, that shit right there screams.
That gives you like any given Sunday vibes to me.
Yeah, just screaming fire. I got a little bit of Maryland vibe from it too, because Maryland got the black uniforms. That shit's fire.
Well, Maryland
are sick too.
The University of Maryland's uniforms, I mean, they're kind of like Oregon. So Oregon has Phil Knight, who is the Nike guy, right? And the University of Maryland, I think their alum. They have Under Armour alum, right? So
it's called the one shop or whatever is Under Armour. So they got the good shit.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, I like that a lot. I think they have some of the coolest gear. They have some of the coolest helmets. When they do the Maryland flag with the
flag,
terrapin,
that shit is so fire. I want a helmet. I'm like, man, I went to Maryland at the wrong time. When I was there, they didn't have those uniforms. That was a step up after I was gone.
Yeah, it's cool, man. But you don't think of you think of Maryland's like I always think of Maryland like as a basketball school, not so much as a football school. But they do put up
football. We are good at basketball, though. I'll tell you that. We be holding it down in basketball. Football, we are mediocre.
And it's weird because they're Big Ten, so like I remember them as a Big East ACC school, but now they're like Big Ten with like Ohio State and.
We went up, and I don't know why they decided to do that. Like we ain't getting killed enough where we were at.
Yeah,
let's go make it harder on ourselves and make a little bit more money, but lose a little bit more games. Very sad.
Yeah.
Next, it's going to be the SEC. We're just not going to win a game at all.
They're in the Big Ten. I mean, they're in the Big Ten, which is, I would say, the second biggest conference now. And now that they absorbed USC and UCLA, so it's all about this, man. It's all about money and media rights. I mean, they have the second largest media rights deal of any college, whatchamacallit, of any college organization. So conference, it's all money, man. It's all money, but it only makes sense, But there's to me, there's nobody over there within arm's reach of them that makes me think because what Maryland, I'm thinking on the map, Maryland doesn't touch Pennsylvania, does it? Or does it?
Does it on the map? It might. I think Baltimore goes straight. I think there's a part of Baltimore that goes straight to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, well,
I remember going through the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel straight to PA when I was going to Atlantic City, because I go to Atlantic City, I would go to Baltimore Harbor Tunnel to PA to New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I'm in there.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess because Rutgers is in the Big Ten too, so that's Jersey. And then you got Penn State and then Pitt. And so I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, but to me, it just doesn't. It doesn't. I feel like they need to be in a conference with somebody like Boston College and
gotta be drafting better players to be up there.
Yeah, that NIL, man. They need money. They gotta pay players now. It's college. You're welcome.
I've been doing that a while ago.
You're welcome, NIL players, because that was my legal paper that I wrote in law school, and I swear to God, one of the attorneys got a hold of it. I swear to God, because our professor, sports law professor, he was all about that shit, and he loved that paper. So you're welcome. If you are an NIL college athlete, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, NCAA been making money off of all these college athletes all these years. They making video games, they selling jerseys, they doing all this shit, not giving these players any money. I mean, it's only right.
Yeah.
You get to make all the money off of me and then also dictate my future, whether or not I can even play in the NCAA. So that shit didn't seem fair to me at all. I was like, no.
Mr. NCAA student athlete, weigh in, please. I mean,
Brad, go get your motherfucking check. Tell them they owe you a check from when you played and didn't get one.
It would be nice, definitely, to be able to cash in a little bit on the name, image, and likeness, but I think a little bit you would like to see a little bit more formalized rules, of course. That way, everybody kind of gets a chance to eat a little bit. I know a lot of the people up at the top, but there's also you're dealing with businesses and different things like that. So you got to be careful where you sign in a dotted line to. There's been some horror stories out here of people being loan shark. So I would just say from that standpoint, the schools aren't necessarily going to protect you from that standpoint from the sharks either. So, I mean, you going out there and you're making money, but I mean, as we all know in the free market, it's kill or be killed a little bit, you know what I mean? And so it's whoever got the best idea, whoever hit it first. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I would like to see a little bit more formalities put into place, but at another standpoint, it is nice again to get to see them getting a little bit more, and it isn't more so the hush hush. You kind of bring the hush hush out into the open a little bit.
I mean
but a kid deserves. I know for playing at Colgate University that we definitely helped the university. I don't know how much, but I definitely know that us in our success on the team definitely helped. So you would definitely like to see that kind of kickback. But again, you know what you're signing up for at the time you're signing up for it. So we all, I can't get too mad about it. But I always like to see the next person behind me have it a little bit easier. So, again, I'm happy for him.
It's like we saw that Matt Rule said, the coach of Nebraska says it's like it takes like $2 million now to get a quarterback. Like that's how much.
Supposedly, I know for like DJ Lagaway, who just signed with University of Florida today, that supposedly there was calls to him for a couple extra million on top, of even that number in order for them to go to their school. So, I mean, they're getting paid like low end quarterbacks in the NFL now. So
more than Brock Purdy, more than what Brock Purdy makes, and he's an MVP candidate, like a front runner of the MVP race.
Imagine all the college athletes that got injured and didn't go to the NFL because of it. Never saw a dollar. Like, these people now actually get paid, and if they get injured and it's NFL breaking, they still made a couple mil. Like,
hey, you got a couple million out of the deal, right?
You're not useless to society now. Like, some of these athletes useless.
Going to large scale universities and these top scale universities where the camera is in front of you, where you're doing interviews and your merchandise is being sold in the stores, and there is significant profit being brought into the universities. I can't get mad at the kid. I'm happy he got a couple million coming his way, just in case something go wrong, he can still take care of his family.
I mean, we were talking about Maryland. Tua Tagovailoa's brother. What's his name? God, what's his name?
Talia.
Yeah, Talua, or whatever his name is. Talua.
Yeah.
He plays for the University of Maryland, and he's not going to play in their bowl game because he doesn't want to get hurt. So I'm like, and he's already making money. One, because of who he is, his brother is, and he's making money because he was let's say they're not franchises, but he was the franchise quarterback for the Maryland Terps, right? So yeah, so it makes total sense. Like I am an asset, and I'm gonna protect my asset by not playing because I'm already paid regardless. I'm gonna get paid. I may go be a backup or whatever in the league, but I mean, I am what I am. Someone's gonna take a flyer on me just because of who I am, and I've already started to stack my bankroll off to the side.
He'll go to the NFL for sure.
I mean, I think with how many injuries we saw this year, I can expect to see a lot of quarterbacks getting drafted this year, just for the simple fact that you might now at this point have to have almost sort of like a reliever style quarterback that can get you through 2 or 3 games a year, because 2 or 3 games a year you'll have a Trevor Lawrence style situation where he gets hurt and you need somebody to carry you through, and it can't just be like a CJ Beathard anymore. I don't think it's going to cut it. I think you need a bona fide player in the league now as that second quarterback.
So it's three out of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now had season-ending injuries. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Aaron Rodgers. All make 50 plus annually, and they all have not played. Aaron Rodgers played 3 snaps, and obviously Joe Burrow played maybe 9 games tops, I think, maybe. And Justin Herbert played 12, 13 games, maybe. Not a full season. So there it is. Protect yourself. Protect your asset. Do what you got to do. So, yeah.
It's going to be harder, though, I will say, with the new transfer portal rules, because a lot of these high school kids are about to be left out, unfortunately. Because there's only so many spots. And so when these guys are showing that they could just transfer and build a team, well, then that closes out a lot of spots. So you're actually seeing a good deal of talent that might actually have to go to smaller schools, maybe then transfer up a little bit later because of NIL, because of the new rules with the transfer portal. So it's interesting from that standpoint as well to see what happens overall.
I mean, and you got these dudes that are hanging around college for 6 years, Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. Dude that won one of the dudes 2 of the 3 that were in the Heisman race all 3 of them actually. All 3 of the dudes that were in the Heisman were transfer portal quarterbacks, right? Penix Jr., Bo Nix, and Jaden Daniels. So, but anyways,
all right.
Back to I guess kind of the NFL. Any games that stuck out to y'all before we kind of actually just dive straight into the Millie, like that actually stuck out to you? I'm not going to talk about. I promise we're not going to talk about the Jags. I promise.
don't actually
I'm
remember.
not shocked at all. I'm not shocked that much at all, to be honest. Kind of leading up into it, I kind of felt like just given where the team was going, it was going to kind of go that way. So, I mean, we in Jag Nation, we hurting a little bit. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is not looking like he's going to play this week. He might, but coming off of a concussion plus the knee plus an ankle, I just think they might just want to hold him out. But it's a big-time game against the Buccaneers to try to see if you want to salvage the season. But I don't know, man. I just haven't seen a lot of teams limp into the playoffs like this and then make a run, but we'll see what happens.
I will say that I called every single game. 100%. I mean, I didn't call every player, but I literally said DFS purposes, Buccaneers and Packers. I said 49ers and Cardinals. I said Rams and Commanders and 49ers and Seahawks and Eagles was the nighttime one. So those games are the ones I said you want to pay attention to for DFS purposes, and the final scores were insane. I think the other one was Bills and Cowboys, and it was 31-10. So it was definitely love on the Bills side of that game. Obviously, none player-wise for the Cowboys, but definitely the higher scoring games were absolutely called, and some of the players were nailed too. I mean, some of them were definitely missed. Can't call all the players right all the time, but that's.
Can we run out that full Millie lineup? Millie lineup. To let everybody know what that was.
It was 235.24 points. QB Baker Mayfield. Running backs Christian McCaffrey. That damn man Rachaad White shows up in the Millie lineup one more time.
Like the fifth time, dude.
I swear, dude. I said you might as well just try to throw him in your lineup because he's gonna be there.
Is that the record? Is there any way?
Yeah, that's gotta be the record.
It has to be the record, right? I mean, maybe
I've never seen a player in the Millie Maker that many times, and I've never seen him in the Millie Maker that many times in one season. That's maybe a quarterback, but not a running back, dude.
I will go back and see if I can find how many times
LaDainian Tomlinson, maybe. I heard he had like an unreal. Like, I guess if you went back years ago.
I think it was before. I think that was before DFS. But the only other DFS running back I think that's been like hung out like this maybe was the 2,000-yard season of Derrick Henry.
Maybe Randy Moss.
I'm just saying. I think it's before.
I remember having Randy Moss, not in DFS, but like in fantasy league, get me like 50 points and shit. Like,
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking of running back purposes. Maybe the Derrick Henry 2,000-yard season or close to 2,000-yard season, whatever it was.
I remember that one. Yeah.
The thing with Derrick Henry was he was a star in November. Isn't it November? He's like a star in November. That's it. So his might not have been this consistent neither. He probably put 1,000 yards in November. And then another 1,000 the rest of the weeks combined.
Yeah, and so then you had Rachaad White, and then you had wide receivers, Demarcus Robinson from the Rams, Noah.
He was chalk.
11% owned.
Chalk you need to eat right there. He was in my cash lineup.
Noah Brown for the Texans. One receiving touchdown, 8 receptions for 82 yards.
I never called that.
I could have totally told you to go away from him because he had a questionable tag, and I never thought we were going to be able to pass the ball because I didn't think Case was going to be able to just stay upright.
Yeah, I would have never got there ever.
I picked a Texans receiver, but I went Robert Woods thinking this was going to be a down short distance Texans receiver just because I know Kase Keenum, he doesn't like to run the ball. He loves to throw the ball. So I'm like, okay, he's going to take chances. And I thought we literally were going to be behind more than what we were. And that Derrick Henry was going to be pounding it the whole game. And then we were just going to have to throw. I personally went with the wrong Texans receiver. And then our man we called Jaden Reed from Green Bay.
Very game.
David Njoku, again, this is his second week in a row in the Millie Maker lineup. If I'm correct.
He was a little chalky too, so
14%. We did say that we did say that we didn't think it was going to happen again because we didn't think that it was going to he was going to be able to make that type plays. But the end of the game when they were driving, when Joe Flacco brought them down, that helped a lot. But just think about this. This man.
Because Laporta popped off too, but it's price per dollar at this point when he did that. So I think it was Laporta all day.
Laporta was on Saturday. They were Saturday's game.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. He wasn't part of the main slate. That's right. I remember Laporta popping off, but I figured it was a price per dollar issue. And so that does make sense then.
Then the flex was James Cook, who was only 4.5% owned.
Yeah, you called that. I did not follow that. Not gonna lie.
And the Browns
not with that.
And the Browns defense. Well, I mean, I just had this feeling that because James Cook is such a one of those backs that he can catch the ball, and if they ever just let him run the damn ball, he's gonna run the ball. And I told y'all to beat that Dallas defense, you got to run them, and they that's
you got to run them, but it has to work. And Buffalo is just not very successful at running the ball because they don't run the ball. So, I think the weather helped. They went to the ground a lot more because of the weather. So, and that definitely boosted
Joe Brady, the new offensive coordinator there in Buffalo, I think has kind of figured it out and figured, okay, I think he's getting into secret sauce. So, what's up, George? And then of course, we also call the Browns defense. So I don't think we didn't like Baker that much. I obviously going to say that we didn't like Baker. I think that if we went quarterback in that game, I think we would have went probably Jordan Love personally. But I did say I didn't think that. I think I even shit on Chris Godwin, who had a hell of a day too. So, but that's where we were a little bit off. And if you went to the second place team, that was a Baker Mayfield, CMC, and then there was Kyren Williams, who we called Kyren Williams instead of where we went.
I feel like you can call him every week, man. That dude is just fucking go mode.
With Rachaad White. But the difference, I mean, it was only $500 difference between him and Rachaad White. And then there's Chris Godwin paired with the Baker Mayfield. And then your bring back is Jaden Reed. And then they had Cedric Wilson from Miami, which I feel like that was I'm just trying to shove somebody in there with money because he was only $3,000. And then he had Njoku, James Cook, and the Bills defense. So there's your 2 points, 2.6 points difference between first and second. And then there's a gulf between second and third. But, I mean, there's plenty of players in this top 3, even in the third place lineup. We called this lineup. We could have essentially got to this third place lineup just by, if you would have just followed exactly what we said. All of these players are from games that we called. Sam Howell as a quarterback, Christian McCaffrey, Kyren Williams, and they ran it with two Commanders receivers, Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel. The only player on here that we did not get to is Noah Brown. Tucker Kraft, from the the Green Bay tight end, David Njoku. So he ran a Washington stack and 2 tight ends. And then a Dolphins defense
too. I think I remember telling that dude that was in here that he was chalk. He won
16.5%. Yes.
Yeah. They eat some chalk there and come in third place and make a lot of money.
Yeah, $50,000. Yeah.
Everybody in that lineup but Noah Brown. Yeah. You probably get to him naturally when you look at your salary left over after you put everybody else in, and you're like,
Yeah, and that's just. I mean, and then. You go down to fourth place, and then the only difference is minus you get Matthew Stafford, Christian McCaffrey, Kyren Williams, Scary Terry, Rashee Rice, who we liked for Kansas City because he's the only person that can catch the ball outside of Travis Kelce. Devontae Parker, which again, that's just salary savings here at $3,500. I would have never touched a New England receiver. Tucker Kraft, David Njoku, and the Dolphins defense again. So I Obviously you got CMC and Joku in all 4 of them, and then you got Kyron in 3 of them out of the 4, and Scary Terry in 2 out of the 4, and the Dolphins defense 2 out of the 4. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we knocked it out of the park on those for sure. I mean, I even placed in the Millie this week, and I mean it wasn't super amazing, but mine was a Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Robert Woods, Logan Thomas, and Wandale with the Browns defense. So, and Wandale was just a cap casualty at that point because I thought
I went to Logan too, and he sucked.
And yeah, Sam Howell threw to everybody but Logan Thomas.
But yeah, I would say also, I guess I can't see the Noah Brown one, but the other ones, just like you said before, we should have got to. But I guess going back to what Phil was saying, where you're saying it's sort of a cap casualty, I guess I wonder if that truly was the case then in that instance, or people really thought that Kase Keenum connection, and also sometimes with CMC, with the amount of money that's associated with that, it doesn't seem like that's stopping people from inserting him weekly into the lineup. So that's always interesting to see when the guys still, we always talk about getting different, but sometimes you still got to go to that chalky. I mean,
he's 35. He's 35% owned in the Millie Maker lineup, and this thing has hundreds of thousands of people in it. There was 148,000 entries in the Millie, and 35% of them had Christian McCaffrey, and 43% of them had Kyron Williams.
It's a good 40% of the crowd. So that means when he scores a touchdown, you don't move anywhere in the money. You're making $5, you're still making $5. You literally needed that Noah Brown to shoot you up.
Yeah,
everything else was high owned. So
Noah Brown at 5% and James Cook at 4%.
We say it all the time. Got to get different, man. Because if you don't get different, imagine how many people had that same lineup, but not Noah Brown. They're not even in our conversation right now because their whole lineup was chalk. And they didn't move no fucking where past anybody. Yeah. The whole lineup was known people that are probably going to go off and high owned.
I mean, and Jaden Reed is at 40% also.
Yeah, like I said, I had Jaden Reed
in the year fairly strong. He had a really good beginning of the year, kind of went away a little bit, but it's starting to kind of rise now towards this last part of the year. He's actually been, the numbers starting to come in a lot solid. Definitely from both a season long and a daily fantasy perspective, he's really starting to connect with Jordan Love.
So George, two wide receivers, a flex and a flex non PPR. So
I haven't looked at any of the matchups yet for that, but I'm all for it. Going to say Cup, Holiday, touchdown. It's just not. We're not. The Rams are playing the Saints, so I can answer for Cup and Holiday, but I don't even know who Minnesota's playing.
Miami plays Dallas, okay? If and only if Tyreek Hill plays, I think that your Waddle is he's not going to get the touchdowns. I have finally saw the light after this game against Philly, JSN. He's going to be that guy that's going to get them damn touchdowns when you need him. Ty Chandler, I believe Ty Chandler with Ty Chandler with no Madison, no Madison. Ty Chandler seems to be a hell of a running back right now. So some combination of your Cup Olave with JSN or Ty Chandler, and then depending on
it's a little tough with the non PPR just because of you're trying to find touchdowns here. Yeah. So Waddle I like from a PPR perspective because the targets, add up over time. But without that, I would probably lean a little towards more Cup, maybe Chandler, just because I know Madison still coming off of an injury, so Chandler could find maybe a 1-yard touchdown somewhere in there. Also, JSN is more likely, or actually, I'll take Olave over JSN, just because I just see this matchup with the Rams tomorrow, leading towards a little bit more having to be pass heavy to compete. So Olave should potentially see the touchdown as well.
How's your team doing, George? Is what we've been telling you working out? Because we try to keep track of what kind of advice we give, and let us know like if the stuff that we've been telling you is working out. Obviously, you keep coming back, so something's working. I hope so.
Facts. Let's talk about this Saints love.
Yeah. So let me give you a little injury report here. All right, on the Saints side of the ball, you will be without offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk, so that could hurt. And then safety Lonnie Johnson, and then Kendre Miller seems to still be questionable. So that just, I don't know, man. I feel like you need to just chalk it up for his rookie year as a loss. And then on the Rams side of the ball, the only thing that really matters is they're going to be without, or could be without, offensive lineman Joe Noteboom, who's one of their, I think he's a guard or swing tackle. Oh, okay.
Left tackle, I believe.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
And we all in the damn tough matchup this week, dude. It's fucking nuts, dude. Especially in them one round playoff games.
When they go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, from this matchup, just going back, I really do. Again, I like Olave tomorrow, just from a fan daily long, but also a season long tomorrow. I just think the volume should be there, the target share should be there. I think this one might go back and forth a little bit tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong here, but again,
I agree with that.
Possibly a shootout. So I like those type of matchups as far as
they both need wins for sure. They both need wins with Atlanta shit in the bed. The Saints need this win to jump into first place in NFC South. And the Rams are sticking around at 7-7 with that Seattle. That Seattle win kind of puts a little bit, gives them a better like strength of schedule type thing. So they're both 7-7, and then like the playoff rankings right now, it's let me see. Rams are the 7 seed, and the Saints are on the outside looking in at the 9 seed, at number 9. So if the Saints win, they'll essentially be in playoff contention, and so anywhere right now they could be from anywhere from the 7 to the 4. So they could jump to the 4 seed. They'll be the 4 seed at the end of the night because they'll be 8-7. Tampa will fall out. But this is we need to win playoff entry fee. You know, that's kind of what this game is, and I like it. I think it's going to be actually a decent game, and I saw this. I always make fun of Derek Carr getting shit on by his offensive linemen and the team and everything. It doesn't seem like people like him. I mean, Michael Thomas doesn't like him, but who does Michael Thomas like? So I
don't like nobody on his team, man.
I saw what Derek Carr got people for Christmas. He got Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave Rolexes, gold diamond encrusted Rolexes, and he got the rest of the receiver rooms just gold chains. And then he got all the offensive linemen like boxes full of steaks and all of them brand new grills.
Eat, motherfucker! I need protection.
Yeah, so he got his 2 favorite receivers, Rashid.
And he at least hit the Napoleon grill. That's what I need to know. I can't be out here buying no middle of the mall shit.
He probably got like and then there's something like Napoleon or
be that Napoleon.
Maybe green egg or something like that. You know, something high end. But yeah, boxes of steaks and grills for his offensive lineman, and then brand new diamond Rolexes for Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. So,
I mean, I like a lot of people in this game. This is going to be tough. This isn't like somewhere where like you can draw a lot of focus. I mean, it could be Cooper Kupp, it could be Puka Nakua, it could be Olave, it could be Shaheed, it could be Kamara, it could be Kyron Williams. There's so many options at captain, it's unreal. I mean, I could tell you that Cooper Kupp is the captain 30% of the time that the Rams play a showdown game. That's the highest. The rest is pretty much the same. I guess you could say the wide receiver one and the running back one and the QB for the Saints are 10% of the captain in their showdown. So it's literally anybody can be the captain tomorrow. I would make it based on ownership or what you think ownership's going to be. If you think everybody's going to lean Cup or Kamara, then do somebody like Shaheed or Olave or Kyron and get different, because there's no really nice line to draw. And I could tell you that 3-3 stack and 4-2 stack are both 32%, but the 4-2 stack is in favor of the Saints. 4 Saints players to 2 Rams players. 4 Rams players to 2 Saints players is only 13%. So I would not recommend doing that. It's very low. And I think the Rams are like favored by 4 or 5 in this game at home. So
4, yeah.
If you're gonna,
you stuck in that world where running backs don't do shit against the Saints defense. I think
Kyron's probably gonna eat.
You're gonna throw that. You gotta throw that thoughts out the window. I think here and just run with reckless abandon. So
I think Kyron will eat in this game.
He might. From a fantasy perspective, I need him to go ahead and go off for me to help try to secure a bid to a championship. And the 10-man, that would be nice. But just from a flow perspective, again, as I stated in the past a little bit, McVay's whole offensive scheme works beautifully when you have a top tier, not necessarily a top tier running, but an effective running back that gets you enough yards so that you can get the play action off. Once you can get the play action off, that allows Cooper Kupp to do his thing. Matthew Stafford's game opens up, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think that they're going to continue to give him those 20 to 25 touches a game. And it's paying off from a fantasy perspective as far as for production, touchdowns, et cetera. He also can catch the ball out of the backfield, which sets up the screen game. So it's perfect from a fantasy perspective.
It just keeps Matthew Stafford upright, though. Like he is not taking freaking hits every down, you know. And I mean, I've seen Matthew Stafford. We've seen it. We saw him in his time in Detroit, and when he had an effective running back, he could get, even when he had Calvin Johnson, they didn't have really that much of an effective running back. And then when he would get an effective running back, he could get the ball down the field, and they would get them into the playoffs, right? But Matthew Stafford needs an effective running back to work his style of the game, which is get the ball down the field. But that's because you are stacking the box because you're afraid we're going to run the ball first. And so that I
will say that Matt Stafford has been the captain in showdowns 0% of the time. So that also kind of hints at the running back being a little bit more elevated in my mind, because if he ain't ever doing anything in these showdown games to make himself the captain, I know it doesn't necessarily mean his wide receivers aren't either, but I would tend to think that it's more favorable to the running back because he's not doing too much. Yeah. The running backs are. So as another reason I like Kyron. To be honest, I don't see how the Saints get the Rams off the field unless they make mistakes themselves. The Rams are going to have to hurt themselves on penalties and turnovers for the Saints to get them off the field, because I just don't think we're suited enough to stop Kyron, Puka, and Cooper. I don't think we are able to do that.
I mean, I feel like the Demarcus Robinson love is going to be high as hell again tomorrow.
Isn't Tutu coming back, though?
I'm not really worried about Tutu.
Tutu at will rule, I thought.
I think the person that's going to eat is whoever Lattimore is not covering. So if Lattimore is on Cup, Nakua is going to eat. It's not even going to go to Atwell. It's going to go straight to Nakua. But if he's on Nakua, then Cup is going to eat. And to be honest, I might think that he might play both of them tomorrow on and off. And when he's not covering one, they're going to be targeting the other one. So
yeah,
it's tough to say that. I think you just have to go with ownership there. If Cup's going to be higher owned, you get a little bit more of Nakua. If Nakua is higher owned, you get a little bit more of Cup. Because Lattimore is shut down, baby. Nothing in here. I think he shut down Cup before, if I remember correctly. But I think that was before Nakua. So that definitely changes the game because I feel like Nakua is like another Cooper Cup out there. And I also think the Saints are pretty vulnerable to tight ends, which would open up Higbee like a motherfucker. I'm pretty sure tight ends have feasted on us in the past. So Higbee might even be like a great play here, but I can tell you he's also never been the captain in any of the Rams showdowns. So
yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like let me look and see.
And the Saints tight end has never been the captain.
Juwan Johnson. Any love there? Is she hurt? He isn't hurt, right?
No, he's playing. He's playing.
He's playing.
Scored a touchdown. He scored a touchdown last week.
Tomorrow?
He hasn't been a captain before, but yeah. I mean I like getting exposure to him. I think me and Cody said it last time the Saints played. Got to get exposure to Juwan Johnson because he's a touchdown man, especially for FanDuel. But somebody you definitely need exposure to tomorrow is Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
he seems to shine on showdowns. Comes in, throws touchdowns, runs touchdowns, fucking just all around playmaker on showdown slates. And I think we gonna need to utilize him to win this game. If the Saints want to win this game, we got to make him effective.
Which is like the Rams. The Rams are not the greatest against the pass. I mean but it's going to take, like you said, opening up that pass with someone like Taysom Hill or Kamara just trying to not beat his brains out, but hopefully that's not what happens. But I don't see – this may be one of those games now, but maybe I might be wrong because this is a 46 over-under.
Could be a nice matchup, man. Kamara can definitely open up the passing game, and Kyron can open up the passing game.
I was going to say I don't feel like there's going to be hardly any defense played on a team that we expect. There should be a game that we should expect defense to be played in, but it's a primetime game, playing different. We're getting into playoff style football, and this might just be the
watch it play slow as fuck.
Kamara and Kyron Williams pound the rock.
You know, some type of slow ass. Neither one of them can complete passes. Both getting eat up by penalties. You know, comes down to field goals because they can't score in the red zone, and my kicker misses them all. So
we do know that when games are played between the Saints and the Rams, we do not like to call pass interference calls on the Rams.
Yeah, we know that. And we also know that the Saints kicker can't kick the broadside of a fucking ball, so I probably will have hardly any of him, if not just full fading his bitch ass. So
turd tomorrow, and he's not even really a turd right now, but he's gonna be a turd. He's a turd, and is that man Jimmy Graham? Jimmy Graham
I knew you were gonna say that.
He has caught like 6 passes this season, and 4 of them are eight passes this season, something like that. And 4 of them have been touchdowns.
Yeah, that's super fun. You gotta get it. I agree with that one.
I mean, it's just the stats are there. The stats are there.
Is Mike Thomas playing or no?
He's such a really good red zone target.
No, Michael Thomas on IR, man.
That's what I thought. I just said no. He was back.
So your third wide receiver is A.T. Perry.
Got to get some love to A.T. I don't think he's done shit yet. Dude, Juwan Johnson calls more than fucking A.T. Perry.
Juwan Johnson he's a wide receiver though. Like he's literally a tight end, but he's a wide receiver by trade.
And they got Taysom Hill priced all the way up at 9,900. They're making you pay for that showdown love. That'll bring down
captain.
ownership.
Captain. For captain, right?
Yes.
Yeah, captain. So
that'll bring down his ownership.
I don't know, man. This could be one of those games where you think it's a game where you fade both of the quarterbacks.
Yeah. For captain, yeah, I'm fading both for captain.
I'm just saying total. Like, could you get if you're in 20 max, get to in a 20 max or more, and
I gotta have Carr, just because flex history says that in the last, what is this, like 20 games or something, in the last 31 games, so I know all of these aren't Carr, but in the last 31, Saints quarterback has been 61% of the flex. So
is that considering Taysom Hill a quarterback, though?
I don't know, and it's probably considering Winston as well, but also some correlation is the Rams allow their opposing team's quarterback in the flex 58% of the time. So more likely than not is what that's telling you, that there's going to be a Saints quarterback in the flex. So I don't think I full fade. You might be able to full fade Stafford, I'd say. I don't think he's put up fantasy winning numbers yet this year. 0% captain chance, and
I mean, he was just in the top.
He was. That was it.
Lineup in the Millie Maker.
But other than that, they get down the red zone, it might be Kyron's show. And then no love for Stafford. And I'll tell you last stat on this game. The Saints wide receiver is captain 19% of the time, and the Rams wide receivers are captain 32% of the time. More likely than not, it's going to be a Rams wide receiver over a Saints wide receiver.
I mean, I think this game, it's going to play out fireworks, but I think that you could save money. You could save money and run the Puka show out just because as your captain, save money there, save $2,000, $2,100 or whatever. Because I feel like you said, more often than not. Well, I guess Marshawn doesn't really cover the slot that much. So, and Cooper Kupp works out the slot.
To be honest, when there's elite wide receivers on another team, Marshawn Lattimore plays lockdown on that person. So, like, when we play Mike Evans, he does not move off of Mike Evans, not once in the game. He play against Cooper Kupp, he might not
fighting.
Yeah, he might not move off of Cooper Kupp at all. Now, if Nakua starts styling on whoever's covering him, he might shift off. But he might be locked down.
Y'all's corners outside of Marshawn Lattimore are dog shit.
Correct. But sometimes some dog shit corners just have somebody's number. Like, you'll be like, how is this dude not feasting right now? And you're like, he should be feasting. He just shit on a top corner, and it's just sometimes them shitty ass corners play lockdown on, like, they play up to their opponent, and their opponent plays down to them. We saw with Stephon Diggs recently, 2 games ago. Supposed to have the game of his life, gets like 5 fantasy points. Like, how do you style on some of these top elite corners and then you don't do shit against this guy who's allowed like the most touchdowns of the fucking season to wide receivers, and he shits on you?
We gotta see. Answer.
So
I didn't think Tutu.
I'm just not a fan of people like Tutu. They don't do enough for me. I'll have exposure, 1 or 2 lineups, but I'm not somebody I'm giving a lot of love to. And I think there's plenty other spots to go.
He's come off of the concussion, and even with the him. I mean, what they just played Washington. Okay, week 14, he didn't have a concussion, and Demarcus Robinson still went off. So the week before last week, I guess, week 14. So I think that he's fallen out of love, I guess, with the offense. So I was about to see where's old Benny Skoranek been. Let's see how he's been doing.
Even when Ben Skoranek gets a fucking touchdown, it's like all he does, it ends up not being enough.
I know. I'm just saying. I was just seeing like for if he's going to be one of those dudes, but he's not. So like I
said, you got to get some exposure to him, like a lineup or two. But I was not. There's so many players in this game that you can get a lot of. That I think you'll be all right. You're definitely going to need somebody, one of those, to fill in the gap to be different and win. But I think the main focus is figuring out the captain.
If you're getting off different, I'm just saying getting different. I think that your three receivers there, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson for the Rams are pretty much set. I don't feel like you're going to get much outside of that. Wide receiver wise, now where the shit gets tricky is tight ends for the Rams. I think Higbee obviously is number one, but we've seen this Davis Allen kid show up, and then so that's to me, because they run a lot of that 21 personnel, which is 2 tight ends on the field when they're running the ball. So you got only 2 wide receivers on the field, a running back, 2 tight ends, and then your linemen. So then you're having more chance for the ball to end up going to this bum-ass tight end who doesn't really see the field that often, right? Over a 4th-string wide receiver who absolutely is never going to see the field unless they're down and they're running 5 wide receiver sets, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think it's more tricky to get to a second tight end than it is any wide receiver outside of Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Demarcus Robinson. Now, outside of on the Saints side, you got Olave and Rashid Shaheed, and then you have a whole fucking just throw a hand down in the bag and see who you pull out. That's where it scares me, because you got Keith Kirkwood, who scored a touchdown the other.
That's where I'm saying you're gonna have to get that person right. But another hard part in this game is figuring out the captain, whereas some other games it's not hard to figure out the captain. This game's going to be hard to figure out the captain. Then you're also going to have to get that one weird-ass person right. This is a tough slate for Showdown. I'll put it that way. I mean, for sports betting, I'm a Saints fan. Got to go with my Saints +4 on the road. Over under 46, I got to go with the over.
I'm going to take the Rams here. I just think that there's too many weapons on that side. There's too many people that have to cover, unfortunately, for the Saints fans.
Beef's real, bro. The beef is real. I'll remember that next time the Jags play.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the Rams too for this reason, and I'm gonna tell you this reason. They got the better coach. They got the better coach, and they got the better quarterback.
I don't know who's a better quarterback. I mean, they both dog shit in my opinion. I'm gonna be real. They both dog shit. I think we have the better running back, and I think I don't know. I think it's tough.
Pete Carmichael ain't it, and Dennis Allen ain't it.
I think we have the better defense.
Absolutely.
Defense wins games. So I think if we win this game, it's because of some type of defensive play, a pick six or a fumble recovery.
I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna say the Saints cover, but I think the Rams win.
Now I need the Saints to win for playoffs. That motherfucking jersey on.
Everybody needs them to win. I mean, they do. But there's something about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield out here being weird is what's killing me. They're comparing him to Tom Brady's record, like his record and his statistics from the same exact point last year, and Baker Mayfield's better than Tom Brady was at this time last year, and it's just
Baker Mayfield hasn't done anything all season. That's why they're barely in playoffs them damn selves. And if they were in any other division, they wouldn't be in there neither. So
nobody wants to win the NFC South.
It's crazy. Everybody just looks at stats and they think somebody's great because of some stats. Like, bitch, I grew up on esports, and just because you went 18-10 and you went +8, does not mean that you did anything good in that game, and that's why we fucking lost, because all you did was clean up kills. You weren't out there making plays. You weren't running flags back. You weren't doing the objective. You weren't there when rockets came up, motherfucker. You were there when we died and they were one shot and you picked up the kill and then died your damn self.
It's like what Josh
motherfucker, just because you throw 300 yards doesn't mean that you're fucking good. It means that Mike Evans made some fucking nice ass plays and you just threw him the fucking ball. You know, you still ain't shit. You're definitely not Tom Brady. And I hate Tom Brady because I think Drew Brees is better than him. And we've always had them GOAT arguments. So, and there's not even a compare. Man, I'm better than Baker Mayfield. Man, get that man the fuck up out of here. If you gave me Baker Mayfield's height, I'd be better. That's it.
That's just like Josh Allen said. He was a kid there in the that got the A in the on the assignment when everybody else did the work. So
yeah, exactly. I used to do that shit in school. I fucking find the smart kids like, oh, group assignment. I go right to the smart girls.
We did that together,
and I got the A, and I didn't do shit.
We did that. We've done that on assignment, I think, together before.
Yeah, I ain't doing shit, man. Get me that A. That's why I joined your group. That's Baker Mayfield, bro. You're just there. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with that team, and you're fucking barely in playoffs. There's no shot they're saying he's better than Brady this year.
Oh, of course. They're going to say that. People are going to say that. They're gonna love to make stuff up.
All right, let's talk them.
Saturday holiday slate.
Christmas Eve love.
Christmas Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve. There's not a lot of injury report right now. The main one is I think that Jamar Chase is out. He's maybe my downfall. No Jamar Chase, no number 1 overall pick in fantasy, and that may be the end of my road. Because it says he's questionable, but
this game has shockingly a low over under.
I think because this is the reason why. I think Jake Browning has come down to earth. He got bailed out.
Didn't he do? I think he did pretty good last week.
He got bailed out.
I mean, without Jamar Chase in there, though, he might look a lot worse. That seems to definitely be his favorite. That's bailing him out. Like, I think that's what you're hinting at. But also on the Steelers side, I mean, I called Deontay Johnson, and my man was crushing. So they like. I mean, I see this being a little higher scoring than this.
It will be because this game's going to play like a primetime game. They're just scoring it like a
shit show,
like a normal Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game. I think that's how they're scoring it. Usually these are fairly low-scoring games. Both teams know each other. My only sort of asterisk by this game is, has Tomlin sort of lost the team? Just with recent things with Pickens and sort of loafing on plays. When they start loafing, that's when you start to wonder, has the
17 and a half
lost the team? And so if a coach loses the team, then you could walk in and see a blowout. And so that's the only thing sort of as a little, when I say asterisk, I guess that's the sort of caveat to this whole equation. It's just that Tomlin may, if he has the control of the team, we'll know. It's weird because they have themselves in a playoff race, but the way the team reacts, at least from the receiving room, it's almost like you got to let the receiving coach go, because for some reason this team just is being driven by the actions of the receivers, and that shouldn't happen on a good team. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow.
They used to be big scorers, big time scorers with Roethlisberger, and I didn't even think he was that great. I mean, he was good, but like, I'm trying to. You're right. Like, where the fuck did the fall off happen with these receivers making plays? I mean, DJ was getting like 17 targets a game back in the day.
They were throwing the ball. He was throwing the ball 40 or 50 times a game.
But now they just run. They just run. Like last year was Najee Harris, like fucking 80 attempts a fucking game. Like, dude, throw the ball, bro.
They can't make their mind up right now. The fan base hated Mason Rudolph. when he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Ben Roethlisberger. They hated him. You can ask Josh. You know Josh? Remember Josh from Brad knows Josh, but Phil's been around. He remembers Josh from our league. Josh is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He absolutely hated Mason Rudolph. He hated him. But then they get Kenny Pickett, who's going to be the savior of the team and all this kind of stuff. He gets hurt 2 years in a row, twice. He's been hurt twice.
He's back in now, though.
No.
It's Mason.
It's Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, it's Mitch Trubisky. That's right. It's Mitch Trubisky.
And Mitch Trubisky, they're getting their ass kicked the other night, and they wait to the fourth quarter to pull him out for Mason Rudolph. If Mason Rudolph was going to be an option, why not pull him? Why not put him in the beginning when fans were chanting Mason Rudolph?
Yeah, I played Mitch Trubisky and the other underdog quarterback on that short slate, trying to get different, and it was Jordan Love. Him and Jordan Love, and they both shit the fucking bed, and it was the chalk. It was Tua and somebody else that popped off, and I'm like, I ain't doing that no more. So this game right here, it looks like a dud, looks like shit. If Chase is out, Browning's gonna look like shit. Mitch Trubisky already showed me he sucks. So I'm going Allen, and that's it.
He's I guess with T. Higgins is gonna be the centerpiece of the offense. I mean, T. Higgins is T. Higgins. When T. Higgins is on, T. Higgins is on. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't even see it being Higgins because he's been out there and he still ain't done shit. I see somebody else taking his role, like Trenton Irwin or something, that's gonna get these extra receiving.
I'm saying everybody's gonna go over to T. Higgins because of what he did last week.
I like Tyler Boyd in this matchup.
Because he shit the bed last week.
Veteran role.
I mean,
the quarterbacks
T. Higgins had 22
like to
points.
Go to those style receivers. So I know he kind of went away a little bit, but in the games where I believe when Chase was out before, I think he actually had a really solid game. So again, I would look for more Tyler Boyd than a Higgins, because Higgins more is a big play. Like he needs like a bomb to really have the type of numbers that can really affect from a daily fantasy perspective. He's not.
Yeah, went four for 8 for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sunday. T. Higgins did.
Yeah.
But
Boyd didn't do anything. So Brad's right. You know, you're gonna have that part where people don't want to play him because he didn't do shit, and this is a good time to get on him because he's gonna have low ownership.
I went out and grabbed him on the waiver wire to fill in for Jamar Chase, and I'm hoping to God that he's the one takes all the catches.
He could be, and he's going to be lower owned because he didn't do shit last week. So,
yep.
And then Phil, your Trenton Irwin. Let me see.
He been coming in getting some plays.
He didn't do anything. He did no receptions and no targets on Sunday. Andre Iosivas had 3 targets, I believe, but everything else went to
Higgins and
T. Higgins. Yeah.
Who's starting quarterback for the Chargers? I forgot.
Easton Stick, who?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Easton Stick who was a letdown. I went all over because y'all said he was fucking. Y'all said he was good. That motherfucker sucked so bad. I was like,
yeah,
you know what? That's why I'm going right back to the fucking well with him on this slate. All right, we can go right back to Easton Stick, named after the baseball bat, and watch him work. Watch him work on the Bills. He gonna have to.
I mean, it scares me now. I mean, he came along. He ended up with 20-something, 21 or 17, something like that, fantasy points after the fact that they were getting their ass blowed out. And it was garbage time. But garbage time is garbage time is garbage time.
The fantasy value to me is fantasy value. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck when you get the points as long as you get me the points. That's it. So
I mean, Josh Allen, of course, I believe everybody's going to be all over Josh Allen.
It's going to be chalk as fuck, dude. And you just can't go there. Single entry, you can go there. But in mass entry, man, you're gonna have to go with Mitch.
He's gonna be 70% owned. He's gonna be 70% owned. He's
gotta get different, man. You get different, it's like guaranteed money. You can miss so many spots and still make money if Easton Stick or somebody does.
Lat Murray tomorrow. I don't know. It's just a little weird. I know Cook was on fire.
Oh, you're talking about Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, with the Saturday matchup for Buffalo, Lat Murray tomorrow.
I like that. Yeah, like you said, everybody gonna be on the Cook. Lat Murray was getting the ball at the goal line too. I thought he was going to yank him from Cook in the beginning, and he failed.
He went 5 touches or 5 attempts for 11 yards and a touchdown in the game, same game that freaking James Cook went off on. So he's still getting touches, and he's still
he had the touchdown opportunity before Cook on numerous of those runs, and he just failed, and then Cook got it. But they put him in first. I remember seeing it. I was like, yo, what the fuck? So they trust him to get those TDs. I like Lat Murray.
And James Cook did not practice today because he's sick. So this whatever this bug that everybody is getting, maybe he might just
slow Devontae Adams down. No,
they put it straight in his veins. You know what I'm saying? I even looked into that shit myself because I found
deer antler shit in them.
I found out that they do that shit like at the local place here by my house. You can get an IV and it's supposed to help with your immunity and all this kind of shit. I was like, dude, I've been sick for a week. I'm like thinking about going and getting
they got those fucking, they're like stores now, man. You just walk in, get strapped up, and they give you vitamins and shit.
Bobby Brown and Kieran are always doing that, dude. Like, so
I'm afraid too with my health issues that I do that shit and just fucking anaphylaxis to some fucking vitamin they're giving me. So not me, but I've definitely heard about them. The first time I saw them was in Vegas when we were down there. You were down there, but I walked through one of the lobbies and people like hung over as fuck, strapped up the IVs in the lobby. Some fucking side company came in and was doing IVs for people in the lobby. You know, because EDC or something was down in Vegas when we were there. So they motherfuckers was ready, strapping people up to IVs for that hangover, dude. I was like, yo, that is wild.
I remember they were doing that and giving out Pedialyte on the street corners, like stay hydrated.
Pedialyte and fucking IVs and fucking 22-year-old sluts running through the lobby with no clothes on, dude. Just literally girls running by me with like tassels on, and that's it. Like no underwear, nothing. I was like, what the fuck's going on? They're like, EDC. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong spot. Fuck, what's going on? I'm trying to follow y'all.
So the life that we lived once upon a time before we were both dads and had bills to pay, right?
I was actually down there for my wedding, so I couldn't chase them bitches to the EDC. So there's that too. But definitely the life I used to live.
So with I feel like in the running back side for this slate, it's gonna be the James Cook. They're gonna be Austin Eckler's gonna be overowned. I don't think I'm touching him. I've touched enough Austin Eckler this year, and he's burnt me every time. I see too much Josh Kelly and Isaiah Spiller out there on the field. I just feel like they've just given up on him.
But Eckler, though, he's good every playoff time. It just seems like the guy comes out of nowhere and will put up 30 spot. This may be that sort of Eckler week. I know we sort of a CMC type situation. I kind of feel a little bit, though, whereas he's kind of gone away, but he might just show up just because they don't have anyone else to really throw to, and then you get them dump offs. Maybe you break one. That changes the whole slate of the game.
I'll put it this way too. The Bills are 25th defense against the running back, and the Chargers are number 1 against the running back. So if you need any reason to get off of James Cook, there it is right there. That Chargers are allowing the least amount of fantasy points to running backs or points, whatever it is, in the league, to make them number 1. And it does look like the Bills are exploitable on the ground. So Austin Eckler, James Kelly, and then even the Bengals are 30th against the position of the running back. So Jalen Warren all day. I know Najee Harris is probable, so that is not good. That's worse than a Q tag in my opinion. So keep an eye on that.
And then
and Warren's a good pass catcher of the group anyways. And so from a PPR perspective, that's who you want. That's who you want to target anyways.
Correct.
I was going to say, they played already. I think they did early on.
So you might even like a little bit of Khalil Shakir in these games.
Well, the last time they did play 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and the game was 16-10.
Buffalo and Chargers?
No, Steelers and the Bengals.
Oh. Yeah, that's nothing to get excited about. That's for
I know,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. Then I think that was the game that Joe Burrow got hurt in. Or that was Jake Browning's first game. So, yeah, I think that was – so Jake Browning went 19 for 26 or 227 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Joe Mixon had 8 carries for 16 yards, and Jamar Chase had 4 receptions for 81 yards. So, again, that makes me sick. But somebody I just thought about after the fact, that was the comeback game or one of the games that Pat Freiermuth went off in. He had 9 receptions for 120 yards. There you go. There's your I'm not going to have to fucking play Kincaid. Pat Freiermuth for I might just have to rock with Pat Freiermuth for just because, like we said, they ain't got nobody to throw to, and what else can you do?
Yeah, the tight ends are all in some good spots. Even Gerald Everett's in a good spot.
What's been scaring me is them tight ends there in the Charger land. I can't decide if it's going to be Stone Smart or if it's going to be Gerald Everett, and then we don't have anything on Parham at the moment. So, because obviously he's the touchdown. He's actually healthy, so he's probably going to be. Isn't listed on the injury report. Donald Parham is. So there's another monkey wrench to throw back in.
I'll tell you this: I think I've seen every single one of Cincinnati's tight ends get a touchdown.
Fucking Drew Sample, man.
Drew Sample, Mitchell Wilcox, and Irv Smith Jr. have all gotten touchdowns.
And Tanner and Brad said last week to watch Tanner Hudson, and Tanner Hudson has been doing it. But the thing about it is, I feel like we see Drew Sample out there just as much as we see Tanner Hudson, and I did not know until last week that Drew Sample was a college teammate with Jake Browning.
Yeah, he had Drew Sample actually outsnapped all the tight ends, 66%, but he only had 8% targets, whereas Tanner Hudson was only on the field for 23% of the snaps, but he had a 12% target share. So he's on the field less, but more targets. But if they're going to be playing Drew Sample more, and it looks like they have been on the season, because on the season he's snap count's 39% and Hudson's is only 30%, then that might want to get you a little bit more sample than anybody in their backfield. But I don't know, because I don't follow them enough, whether the reason Sample's on the field more is because he's a blocking tight end or not. And if he is, then that would make sense. But if he's not, then you definitely got to get more sample than everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that might be it. There's not much. There's no ownerships out or anything like that for those games yet. So follow the Facebook. Stay in touch, ask questions. We can post them as the games get closer, let you know who's chalk, who's a good value play. I posted some good value plays on Sunday. I think a couple of them popped off.
You post them in the group.
On Facebook.
I went and put them over on the Facebook page, on the public page. So I have both of the links to the group, and if you don't want to join the group, just like the Facebook page. We have the same information in there. The group's just, if you don't, it was more or less how we started, and it's a private page. So if you don't want everybody and your friends knowing, hey, I play fantasy football, it's kind of a place where you can just come and hang out and ask questions. You can ask questions on the Facebook page too. It don't matter. 2 points to the Bengals in Pittsburgh. I don't know.
It's in Pittsburgh, man. It's tough. If Chase is out, I'm going Steelers. But if Chase is in, then I would go Bengals. But I think Chase is already ruled out.
It says questionable. I just looked on because I have him in fantasy, so it says questionable as of right now. But man, I don't. Ugh, the game. It just feels disgusting, and everybody's like, "Oh, you don't like AFC North smash mouth football? Get out of here!" And I'm like, "No, this isn't 1993. I'm not watching Corey Dillon and Jerome Bettis. I'm not watching them with Boomer Esiason and fucking whoever the quarterback was for the fucking Steelers at the time.
Probably Roethlisberger.
Nah, not 93. Or 95 when like Cordell Stewart was coming in out of the University of Colorado. I'm not watching.
Ben was there for a long ass time. That man spent like 15, 20 years in that bitch, it felt like.
Yeah, he was there for a long time. He was in and out for a minute though. Not as long as Tom Brady was for the Patriots though. And not as long as Drew Brees was with the Saints. Or in the league, I guess. So, but yeah. It is Cincinnati -2, over under 36.5.
He played 18 seasons with the Steelers. Is that 18 years? Is that another way of saying it?
Roughly, yeah.
Dude, that's a long ass time. I said 15. Fucking 18, dude.
He's been retired now for what, 3 years?
18 fucking years. So 2005. Well, he's been retired 3 years. So 2002.
Yeah.
So 2020.
Yeah. I think COVID year was his last year at the or 2021 maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, he played a long time. And then the Buffalo, Buffalo's 12 points.
Yeah. And Buffalo's also the highest projected team total on the slate as well.
Yeah, 20.
That might come, like, I would expect that to come in spread out form, where I don't think you can go very chalky on Bills players and expect to win, because it might be like a Diggs touchdown, a Cook touchdown, a Murray touchdown, and Allen sneaking one in, and
This ain't the Raiders, where the Raiders left all most of their number ones in until the fourth quarter. I think the Bills get out to a handedly good lead in the first or second quarter, first half. Josh Allen's ass is coming out. We're going to get the Kyle Allen show. So think about that. This could be a runaway train.
And that's why you want some Easton Stick or some Mitchie Trubisky. You ain't got to worry about that. Them boys is playing to the end. I'm telling you right now, Easton Stick playing until the end.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have to. I mean, that's all they got. But that Pittsburgh quarterback is what scares me worse, I think, than Josh Allen.
They might put in that Mason Rudolph. So I think it
only writes itself. Okay, it only fucking writes itself. Rudolph's ass is gonna come in and save the day. There you go. Write it down. Christmas pun is written. Mason, the red-nosed reindeer Rudolph, is going to come out here and get the win for the no, I'm just kidding. I don't think so. I don't think they're winning, but he's going to save the day.
He might.
Yeah, well, with that being said, it looks like everybody's dipping out. We will catch you guys on Saturday. If you have questions between now and then, hit the Facebook, and we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and we will catch y'all then.
Adios.
Later.